Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another edition of the Mike and Molson Too Good or Too Hot, depending on where you search for this podcast for the radio. I am Mike.
I'm Johnny.
And hope everyone had a enjoyable holiday. You were on the road a little bit before the holiday.
I almost got into a fist fight with a Nigerian cab driver.
What? Okay, you're burying the lead. Get right to it. How, did he send you an email that he wanted some money? And then
it was so weird. Weird.
I was going to say that for you to get cranked up, that must take a lot. That you're almost going to get in a fist fight. Was it him starting stuff with other drivers that made you feel like you had to defend?
No, it was a straight up scam. He was pulling a scam.
Oh, he was doing okay. Yeah. He was taking the long road.
Well, I worried about that at first because he said, "Okay, where are you going?" And I gave him the address, and I saw him punch it in, and I see the location where I'm going come up on his screen. And then
GPS foiled his plan.
And then he says, "Yeah, give me that again." So I give him again, and that was my first clue that I was like, that was kind of weird. It's like it was right there. He's got it. He said, give me it again. And my brain went to that. It's like, oh, he's going to take some weird route and say it was my fault and gave him the wrong address. Okay, whatever. But then I said, hey, that is unfair. Why would I? That is a terrible thing to think.
Right, exactly.
I immediately go to the worst possible scenario.
Especially when they're out there and it's dog eat dog now. They're not the only game in town. Right. There's Uber, there's Lyft, and you were nice enough to choose a cab.
I did, and you know what? I almost went the share a ride route, Uber, Lyft, whatever it was, and it was like, he was there. I would have to wait for an Uber. It's like, you know what? I'll just get in the cab. That's fine.
Okay.
No, we're good. Had about a 45-minute ride to where I was going.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I also had a client meeting that I had to be on Zoom. So he's driving, I'm in my meeting, everything's going fine, and I'm watching, and we're going the right route. Everything's good.
So you have been this way before then? This wasn't like where you were some rube out of town.
Correct.
That he probably could have pulled the wool over their eyes, but you're savvy. You're a savvy traveler.
Yeah, I could tell as we were going, we're going the right direction.
Okay.
So we get to the destination, and again, I've got my earphones in because I'm talking to a client, and I'm thinking I'm just going to swipe the card, wave to the guy,
and
say
out.
Thank you, and we're done. As I'm getting my card out, he turns around, puts his hand out, and says, "Give me cash. I'm hungry."
Give me cash. Okay.
That's not how this works.
No, that's not my problem. The best part would have been had you had travel snacks.
Right.
Just giving him that, be like, here you go. We good?
I said, no, I'm using my card. All right. So I put the card in the machine, and it blinks. It does its thing. Card approved. Please remove card. And I take the card out. Now, while I'm doing this, he's screwing around with the fare box up on the dashboard.
Oh, okay.
And he says, "Do you want a receipt?" "I want a receipt. I just want to get out." And all of a sudden, his screen goes blank. My screen goes blank. And
is he like running it again?
And he said, "You took your card out too fast." And I said, "No, it said
approved."
It said approved. It's not approved. You did not pay me. Give me cash.
Okay.
And I said, no, you've been paid.
Yeah. Especially since you just asked me, do you want a receipt?
Right.
You don't ask that if in the middle of the transaction it didn't go through.
He says, no. If it would have gone through, a receipt would have printed out. And I said, don't want a receipt. It went through. We're done.
Yeah.
He goes, "You did not pay me. You give me cash." I said, "Buddy, you're not getting cash. You've been paid." I even go so far as to I take out my phone. I've got my credit card app on there. It's already dinged.
God.
And I said, "Is this your company?" "Yes." He said, "It's right there. That's what I just did. This is the money you have." And he looks at it and he says, "It says pending. It says pending. You did not pay me. I don't have money yet. You did not pay me. Give me cash." And by this time it's like this is not going to end how you think it's going to.
Are you still on a Zoom?
No, at this point I had to pull. I had to completely drop the thing.
Hold on a second. I got to deal with a cab driver.
Yeah. And that was the last thing. It was funny because I was on with a client and like 3 other people, and the last thing they hear me say is, "I'm not giving you cash. I have a card." And then the thing went dead, and so they think
they think you may be dead.
Yeah.
Like, what? You got a gambling debt?
And so I start to get out of the car. He gets out of the car,
Is this like off the beaten path, or is this where...
No, I'm at the destination.
Right, but are people around? Like, if there would have been a rumble, like, would have been a viral sensation?
Probably not. I mean, it was just kind of I was at an office in an industrial park.
Okay, so not a lot of people around.
I don't think anybody was paying any attention. And remind me of that, because there is a part to that. So we're going back and forth, and it's just like, I'm not doing. You've been paid. There's nothing else I can tell you. Check the machine. So he calls his dispatch office, and this woman.
Oh, good Lord! Now, oh God!
So this woman answers the phone, and he starts screaming, "He has not paid me! He has not paid me!" And she said, "Well, push this button, push that button, and you'll see if it's."
Going through.
She said, "I'm not at the office right now. Give me 10 minutes."
Oh, God. She's not even... Right. Oh, Jesus.
I can tell you what happened. And he points at me. He says, "You wait 10 minutes." I said, "I'm not waiting 10 minutes.
I got something I got to do.
I've already been in this too long." And then another voice gets on, and he says, "Put me on speakerphone. Let me talk to the customer." And so the guy puts the phone to me, and whoever this person was on the phone, "Give me your phone number. Give me your name. If something's wrong, I'll call you back, but it's probably fine." So I give the guy the number and my name, and I just walk away from the guy. And it was one of those things where it's like I haven't called this cab company back, and I want to, because it was like, this wasn't a guy that was confused about how the machine works. No. He was clearly pulling a scam.
Right, exactly. How many times has he done this before?
Yeah, I mean, how hard is it? You get all amped and excited, and everybody's anger is up, and he's saying, "Just give me cash, just give me cash." And it's like, fine,
You're right. Just here's 20, take it,
and be done with it. And so I'm sure he's gotten away with it.
Did he then say, "You use my phone, right. Give me cash for bill. I get paid by minutes"?
But it was, as I think back on it, I didn't know how heated this guy was going to get.
Right,
and I didn't know what his deal was. And, I even looked up the name of the cab company. I can't find it anywhere online, even a phone number or anything.
Isn't it weird how, there's sometimes those cabs, even in Chicago and stuff, and it's like, they have a number, but you don't know if that's a real number. Well, right? They just kind of show up out of nowhere.
And with all the advances that are out there, you would think that the cab industry would say, "All right, let's step up our game a little bit." But there's so many cab companies that it's just somebody's phone number, and they've got a cab license. And so I go into the office, and I'm talking to the person that I was there to meet. I said, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe what just happened." And I retell the story. He said, "Oh, was that what all that yelling was out there?" Oh, so thanks, buddy. You could have maybe come to the window
or something. Call the authorities.
Back me up out there. I'm just alone in a parking lot yelling at a crazy night. Yeah,
that was you in distress. Oh.
And he said, it's a weird industrial park area. Sometimes when I hear commotion out there, I don't get involved. I don't look out the window. It's like, thanks. Get involved.
I don't look out the window.
It's better not to know. It's like, okay, all right, thanks for your help.
You don't look out the window in an industrial park? Come on. That's probably the best place to look out the window. No one's going to pay attention.
So, it was just one of those.
So you're just going to start renting cars between the Uber thing where you couldn't tip the guy and now cabs. Now you just got to rent a car.
Did not in a million years think that, but apparently this is now a thing, and probably something people should. So that's your public service announcement from the Too Good for Radio podcast. We would broadcast that across the city, but we're not allowed to be on the radio.
We're not allowed. Although there's no one else here in this particular day that we're recording this, so we probably could just flip on the switches if we wanted to.
8 people that are listening, just watch out for that.
And by the way, we appreciate your download numbers.
We do.
Thank you. And as you're listening, with the holiday season coming up, remember, we are brought to you by Nugenix. She'll like it, too. Stuff it in her stocking. Well, we go from one a-hole that you were dealing with to an Am I the A-hole here from Reddit.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Background, I am now this is the person writing, not me, myself. I'm a 28-year-old female, have been going to school full-time and working full-time and teaching fitness classes as a side gig for the past 4 years. The 2 years before that, I was juggling 2 to 3 jobs at the same time to save up for school. I can count on one hand the number of small breaks I've had in the last 6 years. I'm very tired, but graduate in a few short weeks. The situation. Since my schedule is freeing up, my parents and 2 older sisters decided we wanted to go on a week's vacation early next year. We've been planning and discussing, and so far it's just been the 5 of us. My mom called me this past weekend and said that my oldest sister wanted to invite my cousin on vacation with us and asked what I thought. I immediately said I would not be coming if she was too.
Uh-oh.
My cousin has a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and she would absolutely be bringing them if she came. I cannot imagine anything less relaxing than being on vacation with 2 toddlers. And I said, I haven't been on vacation in 6 years. My mom said she agreed with me, but was pretty neutral on the whole situation, but she would tell my sister that my cousin couldn't come. Flash forward to last night, and my oldest sister called and told me I was a complete a-hole for not letting my cousin come on vacation with us. She was raging. We got into a fight about it and haven't talked since. The rest of my family is staying out of it. Am I the a-hole?
So her whole beef was she wanted a vacation, but she didn't want a vacation with a toddler?
She didn't want a vacation with 2 kids on it. She said, I can't think of anything worse. I've been working hard for 6 years, Johnny.
She can't think of anything worse? I can think of a lot of worse things.
Like getting into a fight with a Nigerian cab driver, possibly.
Take a cab ride with a Nigerian.
Yeah, well, I take it back. Not worse. I can't think of anything less relaxing than vacation with 2 toddlers.
They're not her responsibility.
Right.
Is what I'm getting from this.
Like, do you have that? It brings up another question. You don't, when you go on vacation with people, right? Family or friends or otherwise, you don't always have to be with those people the entire vacation. Like, you can do a majority of things with them, but if you're a majority of adults traveling, you don't always have to be together as a group.
And this seems like I have to do stuff on vacation person as opposed to I want to do nothing on vacation person. And the reason I say that is I think she thinks that the toddlers are going to goof up the plans.
Correct.
Or will limit the plans or any kind of a thing. And I'm more of I want to go on vacation and not do stuff. Because I that's the idea of being on vacation is to get away from doing stuff.
Is not having a schedule, per se. Yeah,
and I don't know that. And the other thing, I've been on trips with families, and here's a pro tip for you. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can actually go do your own thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, here's the thing. It's the cousin's responsibility. It's her kids, right? And if she tries to pawn them off on you on the vacation, you politely say, those are your kids, not my kids. Yeah. And those kids are going to flame out, right? Yeah. You only have to put up with them for a small amount of time before a nap time comes or something else happens, and the cousin can go put them away, or the mom or whoever else invites them. Like, this lady just seems to be a pretty self-righteous to me, of like, kudos to her for all she's doing, working full-time and going to school and then also fitness classes. But it does seem like she is very much everything has to be scheduled out to your point of
and her way.
Yeah, and her way. And so she feels like it's owed her for her 6 years of hard work that she gets this entire fantastical vacation. And the minute kids come up, she's like, no, I don't want any part of that.
So just go somewhere else.
That's true,
Why does she even have to make a thing about it?
Why? Great point. Maybe she gets a different hotel. Or maybe they're doing the Airbnb thing. She doesn't go into further much about that. But yeah, I feel like she is kind of the a-hole.
If this is all a big deal, if taking a vacation is a big deal to her, then go where she wants to go. She doesn't go with the family.
Very true. I didn't even think about that. She could go just plan her own vacation.
Yeah.
Although it is weird, I will say this. I'm not that close to my cousins to where I would, if a family vacation was happening, I'd call up a rando cousin and say, hey, we're all going on vacation. Do you want to come along? I guess she does have a point there of, is there some precedent of if a family, the immediate family is planning a vacation, can one family member go rogue and invite a rando family member?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
I mean, I don't understand how the whole invite came about.
Because the oldest sister wanted to invite the cousin.
Okay.
And but she was saying no because the cousin has kids. And how do we know the kids are coming along? Maybe the kids stay with the dad. There's a lot of layers to this terrible individual.
So the answer
here.
is yes, she is the a-hole.
Yes, she is the a-hole.
Absolutely terrible.
It is the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast.
Ding.
Staying, yeah, exactly. Ding. Staying on the subject of kids, I found this question on Ask Reddit, and I find it interesting. What would you do if you woke up in the morning and found out you were a kid again? Because everyone, always like, I want to be young again. Oh, if I had known then what I know now.
So this is like a Tom Hanks scenario? Where
Yes,
suddenly...
reverse. But instead of being a kid waking up as an adult,
Right.
you're an adult and you wake up as a kid. And I think that is way more fraught with peril than the opposite of a kid waking up as an adult.
Do I take my adult knowledge back with me?
Yes, it's your full consciousness and psyche and everything else, but all of a sudden now you're in a kid body, and let's just say you're 11. So you wake up the next morning, you go to bed tonight as Johnny.
Yeah.
And you wake up the next morning as 11-year-old Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle it. I don't know if I could handle like present day internet temptations, and I think my brain would explode.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's fraught with peril. Like if you're in the big scenario, I think it works because a kid has these glorified ideas of what an adult is, right? And you're like, oh, I can do this now. Oh, I can do this now. If you're an adult that wakes up in a kid's body, as much as you like to be young again, there's a bunch of things you can't do, right? Like if you're having a tough day in junior high and you're an adult in a kid's body, you can't go to a local, bar.
Right, that's true.
And and have that's highly illegal.
Yeah.
You can't just drive somewhere, right? So to me, as tempting as it sounds to be like, oh my God, I'd love to relive my youth to a point. I don't want to go back too far.
Right.
I think in my mind now, I'm like, the youngest I would like to go back to is 21.
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, not that I'm that dependent on booze, but you want that option available, right?
I don't know if my present day brain could handle current day being a kid.
Oh, I know, right? Because
it's too much.
Kids would look at you weird.
Yeah.
If you were to be like, hey, let's go out to the local ball field and just play a pickup game. What? We don't do that.
Let's go jump on the bell hose down at the filling station and make it ding.
Let's go get on the old seesaw, The kids wouldn't understand that.
Outside? You want to go outside?
Right, exactly. They'd be like, what's there to do out there?
There's air out there.
I don't want to be running around and doing things. That's ridiculous.
Step in a puddle.
So, yeah, it's fraught. As much as people would glorify it, I think it's fraught with peril. I think that's why we've never... Well, I guess we had 17 Again was that movie with Jennifer Garner where she came 17 again.
Yeah.
But I, as much as people are like, oh, my God, if I could go back, you don't. You don't want to go back.
Yeah, and there's some variables here that I'm unclear on. Is like, am I taking my present day brain with me?
Yes, you are.
So I know all the things I know.
Yeah, you don't just
and
forget.
Now you get to do it again.
Yeah, you don't get to forget. Your consciousness stays, and now you're just in a kid's body.
Yeah.
Because I would get even thrown off by, okay, you don't want to go outside. You want to play video games. The video games are almost too complicated. I'm going to be the old man standing, yelling at the sun.
Right.
But it was very easy. I had to be, even Sega Genesis, I had the A, B, and C button. That's fine. Or PlayStation, you had 4 buttons. Now it just seems like there's 18 buttons and all these different choices you have to make in the video games. It's like, I just want to hit a ball.
Can you imagine trying to get a girl's attention while she's got her face in TikTok trying to do a dance and you're trying, how do you...
Can you imagine trying to make a TikTok to get a girl's and even asking for a prom is a big promposal now. It's like you got to go through the whole big thing of like lighting off fireworks and renting out an entire arena just to get someone to go to a damn dance with you.
Right.
No for me. No for me.
I'd be sending pictures I shouldn't send, and I mean, there's just all kinds of things.
Accidental pictures. Look at the thing that just showed up down there. I got hair. Once again,
I didn't understand anything about sex.
Once again, brought to you by Nugenics. She'll like it too. Speaking of weird things about sex,
this is
you brought this up to me. I have no idea. I'm going in this sight unseen, thankfully.
Because the alternate name for the podcast is Sex and
Poo. It's right.
If it's about sex or poop, we're talking about it.
Giving you the hard-hitting issues. Emphasis on hard.
This happened up in Michigan during, all the crazy elections that we just went through.
Oh, yeah.
Former political candidate is in jail again after his blood linked him to a recent break-in.
No!
Because he has a cranking fetish.
Cranking fetish?
A cranking fetish.
I think I know what cranking is, but I'm pretty sure when you tell me what cranking is, it's not anything what I thought cranking would be.
Mike, I don't know if you do know what cranking is.
My thought process is cranking is much like doing stuff with your crank.
No.
No?
That's
Cranking?
called masturbation. Everyone does that.
Right.
That's not a fetish. That's perfectly normal.
That's something all kids do.
You know, when I was 11, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, before you go any further,
Sure.
is cranking like that weird fetish that they had that movie about where people are doing it at crash sites?
No.
Remember that weird James Spader movie?
No, it's not even.
I never watched that movie, but I read like the kind of the summation of that movie.
It's automotive adjacent.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. Is he banana in the tailpiping people?
No, and that's
Okay.
what I thought it was too. I thought he was putting his own banana in the tailpipe. But
Can you
no.
imagine walking up? You just have to sell that car. Be like, my car's been violated. I have to sell that car. All right, so what is cranking? For everybody waiting to hear.
The act entails removing a vehicle's spark plug wires so that the car runs rough. And that is how you get your own sexual gratification.
Get a rumble strip going on?
Yes.
Wow.
He is a habitual offender with a criminal history of multiple incidents involving a fetish referred to as cranking.
Here's the thing. The fact that enough people are doing that, right?
Right.
That it's actually got a term for it is ridiculous.
Yeah, that there are psychologists who probably specialize. I specialize in cranking addiction.
So once again, it's taking out the spark plug and plugs and rewiring things. So
You remove the spark plug wires and the car runs rough. And that really gets you going.
Okay.
That gets your own crank going. Police interviewed him. The same day, there was a break-in, and they found DNA samples from him. It was blood from the scene of the crime. I guess when he broke in.
So it's any car, not your own car.
Right.
I guess once you just do it once to your car,
You wouldn't do this to your own car. You wreck your car taking the spark plug wires
the
out.
thrill is gone if it's just your own car.
In interviews with police, he said his goal was to gain access to the vehicles and drive them around the property. He made no admissions regarding cranking, and none of the vehicles had stolen spark plugs. I'm not a crazy cranker. The spark plugs are right where they're supposed to be. In 2017, he was sentenced to mental health and sex offender treatment along with 5 years probation on 8 separate felonies of auto abuse cases ranging from 2016 to 2017. He had police say that he broke into and cranked in a county-owned maintenance truck.
You can't crank in the county truck.
Your Honor, my client here has never cranked in a county-owned truck.
Maybe in private vehicles, but never in county property.
And where my client cranks in the privacy of his own home is protected by the Constitution of the great state of Michigan.
Wow.
He broke into a body shop and took 4 vehicles for cranking joyrides.
What's the turnover time on in between cranking? I mean,
Right,
you get to one vehicle, you cranked one time, then you bring it back.
God, Jake's really on edge. I don't think he's cranked in a while. In 2018, he allegedly took 2 pickup trucks and a dump truck for company, quote, joy rides and damaged them in the process.
It feels like it feels like he needs it rougher each time, right?
Right.
Because he starts with like a county truck, and then it's these other trucks, and then he's like, I need the bigger thrill now. Like the normal combustion of cranking on a regular car doesn't do it for me anymore. Now I need a dump truck crank.
Right, about 4:30 in the morning some summer, a farmer's going to go out and see some guy on his combine. What is that guy doing?
Just driving around willy-nilly.
Right, and he's not even going in straight lines. He's just messing up the whole crops and everything.
He's cranking around over there.
Cranking my crops. He's crop cranking.
He's crop cranking with my corn. Oh.
If you or somebody you know is in danger of having a cranking fetish, there is a hotline you can call. That also is our public service announcement to all 8 of you.
Don't crank. 1-800-DON'T-CRANK.
Oh, my God, he's talking about me. And she'll like it, too.
Imagine out of the 8 listeners we have, one of them is a cranker. That wouldn't surprise me. 1 in 8 people suffer from cranking. The Sex, Poo, and Cranking Podcast.
If it hadn't been for Mike and Molson's Too Good for Radio podcast, I don't know where I'd be today.
I'd be in a street sweeper cranking away on the municipal streets of downtown Springfield. Thank you, Micah Molson. We're here for helping people.
That's all we do.
And finally, besides sex and poo, and you talked about the DNA evidence of the Kranken story, DNA evidence has found the remains of a 1,700-year-old monkey shows signs of the Mesoamerican relationships and also the first ever primate in captivity.
1,700 years ago?
Yes, 1,700 years ago.
It took that. I mean, that's not that long ago, right?
No, not really. You would think.
I mean,
you think maybe prehistoric man had monkeys in the zoo, but they were running wild. Researchers.
I mean, I guess it's like in the 3 digits, right? That's like
it is. Okay. Yeah, exactly. This comes from a report in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Unearthed in 2018 at the base of a pyramid, the monkey's skeleton lay beside the corpse of other animals, including an eagle and several rattlesnakes, in an area of the city where visiting Mayan elites may have resided. This is down in Mexico. Evidence of animal sacrifices, including of predators like jaguars, have been found in the city before, but up to that point, we did not have any instances of sacrificed primates. Chemical analysis of the spider monkey's bones and teeth showed that the female had likely been captured in a human environment at a young age sometime in the 3rd century.
Okay.
And the monkey then lived in captivity for a few years before meeting her end between the years 250 and 300.
But we've had civilizations for some, 20,000 years. There's been tribes and so I mean, I'm surprised that it took that long for us to hang out with a monkey.
Well, maybe, like I said, they were a little afraid of them.
I guess so.
And now you get to the size of a spider monkey to where they were okay to put it in captivity. Mm-hmm. So just think, 1,700 years ago, someone could have had a monkey butler.
Well, and in that short amount of time, I guess the company HelloFresh has been accused of using monkey labor.
Once again, this is a story that keeps recurring. They have not learned their lesson. And what is the monkey labor that they're using?
They are using monkeys to, I guess, get coconut milk.
That damn HelloFresh. That's how they keep their prices so low.
Statement from HelloFresh.
By the way, go to MikeandMolson.com for the free HelloFresh code. Get 4 free meals.
And a monkey. HelloFresh strictly condemns any use of monkey labor in its supply chain, and we take the hard position of not procuring from suppliers or selling coconut products which have been found to use monkey labor. I can't believe we're talking about this.
Still.
That they have enslaved monkeys somewhere.
Well, I mean, you think about it, though. I mean, you can train monkeys to do most anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the organ grinders and that kind of stuff. So what's the real difference between organ grinders and monkey coconut laborers? It's a small step from a nice little man organ grinder with a dancing monkey with him asking for a quarter to a bunch of enslaved monkeys getting coconuts.
And then we haven't had monkeys on the Midway in a while over at the State Fair. Which was great.
It was.
But now I feel bad because I'm wondering if that monkey is just like sold off into coconut milk slavery.
That'd be upsetting. I'd rather him be getting a quarter for every high five.
Yeah. Because it's like, those monkeys, what can they do? They can't go back into the woods.
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't put him back. I mean, he's used to high-fiving people.
Yeah.
And taking pictures with everyone. George was one of their monkeys' names.
Yeah. So anyway, PETA is all upset with HelloFresh.
But they're always
upset. You've never really heard a statement from PETA where they go, everything's cool.
No, they haven't. They're always upset about even any type of moves in the right direction to PETA. There's always something more that could be done. And speaking of something more that could be done, we will end this episode with some happy news involving apes.
Oh, good.
Happy 15th birthday to the gorilla Thabo from the Sri Chamarajendra Zoological Gardens.
By the way, Thabo is a good name for a gorilla.
Yeah, Thabo is a great name for a gorilla. So Thabo turned 15 this past Wednesday, and he was treated with a multi-layered cake prepared using fruits like muskmelon, grapes, apples, nuts, and also vegetables. So happy 15th birthday to Thabo.
Good on you, Thabo.
Exactly. And for those who are wondering, Thabo is not a cranker.
No.
Monkeys don't crank.
No, it takes the messed up human brain to come up with that. Monkeys are still just doing regular monkey sex.
And God bless them for it.
God bless them for it. Thank you for keeping things regular.
So what we learned today, there is a cranking hotline. Also, watch yourself when you get into a cab.
Yes.
And go to the Mike and Molson podcast website for a free code for HelloFresh and Nugenics.
If you can find it.
Exactly. She'll like it too.